Have you ever felt like your worship guitar playing is not quite where you would like it to be? You might practice for hours, but somehow you still struggle to learn songs quickly and to play confidently during worship sessions. Well, I've been there myself and I know how frustrating all of that can be. But here's the thing. I discovered a simple yet powerful set of strategies that transformed my worship guitar playing and progress, and these essential tips helped me to learn new songs in record time and play more expressively and creatively. And in this video, I'd like to share these exact techniques and strategies that I used to improve my playing and to become a confident worship guitarist. You know, everyone says in order to get better, you need to practice more. They also say things like practice makes perfect. Well, both of those statements is not really 100% accurate. Firstly, practice doesn't make perfect. Practice makes permanent. And then secondly, everyone has a different definition of practicing. So if you were to record 10 different guitar players practicing, you're going to end up with 10 different practice plans. And finally, most guitar players, they either don't practice at all, or when they do practice, they're either spending time trying to learn new songs or playing what they already know how to play over and over. So you can start to see the problem here, right? So more importantly, what is the solution? Well, it's all about setting up a targeted practice session, which is what I call the GPS practice method. Now, before I go into exactly how it works and how it can help you, I want you to imagine this with me. So imagine you're about to head into this huge, dense forest looking for a secret spot that only a few people know about. You've got a bunch of tips and hints from people who've been there before. They say, go this way, watch out for that, remember to take this shortcut. But at the end of the day, when you're standing at the edge, it's just all too much. It's kind of like trying to solve a jigsaw puzzle without having the picture. You've got all these pieces, but you have no clue how they all fit together. And then add to that a bunch of information from people who have never even been to that secret spot. Not only do they not have all the info at hand, but most of the advice they could be giving could be downright wrong. Well, as you can see, this forest is kind of like learning to play guitar these days. There are so many videos, so many blog articles, and so many buddies giving you advice on how to do it. You know, each tip might be useful and helpful, but it's easy to get lost along the way, to take some wrong turns, and then end up nowhere near where you want to be. What you're really looking for isn't just how to play some notes, but you want to learn how to play modern worship guitar without being a copycat. So going into all of this without a plan and without a map for yourself is pretty much leaving it all up to luck. You might end up walking in circles, heading back to where you started, or at the end of the day, a path leading you away from where you really want to go. There's so much info out there, and it's really tough to know which way to turn. And you end up wasting a lot of time and energy without getting any closer to your goal. So it's no wonder that so many people end up frustrated with their journey and never really reaching that secret spot. But now imagine this with me. Let's just say you had a map that's made just for you, showing you the best path forward. It's going to point you to where you need to go, exactly what to watch out for, and what all the shortcuts are. This map doesn't just show you the path, it also teaches you how to read the signs along the way, how to understand the lay of the land, and how to tweak your route as needed. What happens is that it turns a wild goose chase into a straight shot to your goal, making sure that every step you take gets you closer to being the guitar player that you really want to be. Well, this is where that GPS practice method comes into play. So let's go ahead and unpack that real quick. Now, GPS is an acronym for goal, position, and skills. So let's look at each of these. The G stands for goal, and it's really important that you define what you want to achieve. You want to set a clear and an achievable goal, and this can be anything from improving on the fretboard to expanding your chord vocabulary and learning some new voicings, or really getting your tone together. Whatever the case may be, your goal needs to be SMART, and that's another acronym: specific, measurable, attainable, relevant, and time-bound. So for example, a vague goal like getting better at guitar is not really the way to go. Instead, a SMART goal would be to comfortably play any worship song using simple diet chord shapes within 2 months. Having a defined goal like that with a target that you can aim for will help you to focus your practice sessions and really make some proper improvement. So let's look at each letter in that SMART goal acronym. Specificity. You want to choose a goal that is well defined. You need to know exactly what you want to achieve because it's going to make it easier for you to plan your practice sessions. The M is for measurable. You also need to be able to measure your progress, and this might mean setting a goal like increasing your metronome speed for a particular scale or chord progression by a certain number of beats. so that you can measure your progress. Next up, it needs to be achievable. Your goal should stretch your current abilities, but it should still remain within reach, because if you're going to set unrealistic goals, it's going to lead to some frustration and demotivation. Now, the R is for relevance, which states that your goal should also align with your overall musical aspirations, and it should be something that motivates you and has value in your musical journey. So for most of us, if our ultimate goal is to play modern worship and to minister to the Lord, then anything that we're going to be adding to our goals or our practice sessions, that should remain relevant to that ultimate goal. Otherwise, it's time not well spent getting us to where we want to be. And then lastly, it needs to be time bound. You need a deadline for that goal, and that's going to create a sense of urgency. It's going to help to keep you on track with your practice sessions so that you can go ahead and lock in the times that you'll be spending practicing. So that takes care of your goal and looking at smart goal setting. Now the P, which is the second letter in our GPS practice method, that stands for position. Once you've determined that goal, the next step is you want to honestly assess your current position relative to your goal. This might involve evaluating your current skill set, your knowledge, as well as any gaps that might exist in your playing and skills. Because when you understand your starting point, then you'll be able to plan better when it comes to that journey for getting to your goal. So for instance, if your goal is to speed up the time that it takes to learn new worship songs, just consider whether you have the technical and the musical skills required, such as the fretboard fluency in all of the different keys, along with some universal picking and strumming patterns. You know what? At the end of the day, your skill set really needs to line up with that goal that you've set for yourself. And when you do an assessment on your own skills and ability based on your current position, you'll be able to see some useful gaps. And the reason that it's useful is you can now go ahead and look at those current abilities and then start finding ways to improve in those areas where you are weak. Now that's exactly where our worship wheel comes in. It's a wheel that measures you from 1 to 10 in 8 different areas that you really need to master and develop proficiency and skill in if you want to play modern worship guitar. Now you can go ahead and get a video where I explain how to do that whole self-assessment, along with a printable and downloadable worship wheel where you can go ahead and determine your position and see where you need to improve. You can go ahead and just check out the link in the description to see where you can pick up a copy of the Worship Guitar Skills Worship Wheel. Now our next step here is to seek feedback. You know, sometimes it's hard to judge your own level accurately. That's why getting feedback from a teacher or from a guitarist who's a little bit ahead of you, they can give you some insights that's hard to get on your own. They can help you to identify where you currently stand. So the combination of feedback and a tool, self-assessment tool like the Worship Guitar Skills Worship Wheel, you can go ahead and clearly identify any specific areas where you lack the necessary skills or knowledge to achieve the goal that you've set for yourself. Like I said, it's going to be anything from fretboard fluency to mastering certain chord transitions, or to improve your tone, your theory, or your technique. So that's goal and position. The S is the final step, which is to identify and develop the skills that you will need to bridge that gap between your current position and your ultimate goal. This is going to involve breaking down your goal into smaller skill-based objectives and designing your practice sessions around these. For example, your goal might be to improve your guitar technique. Maybe you want to work on your string muting, develop some hybrid picking and articulation so that you can infuse some life into your playing. Whatever the case may be, once you've identified those, divide them into smaller and manageable skills that can be practiced individually. This could be specific techniques like I've just mentioned, or specific theory knowledge, or learning how to play more expressively with the use of articulation. Once you have all that down, you've identified where you're at, where you want to go, and the skills that you need to develop to cross that gap, you want to go ahead and put together a targeted practice plan that addresses all of those issues. And a targeted practice plan is all about creating a practice routine that focuses on these individual skills, and then you can use a variety of exercises and methods and practice methods to keep your practice sessions engaging and effective. And then add some progress tracking so you can go ahead and track your progress in every area and regularly record yourself playing, because over time you can start noticing your progress, and that in turn can be incredibly motivating and inform any adjustments that you need to your practice routine. So there you have it. That's the GPS practice method, and it provides you with a structured approach to musical improvement, making your practice time more effective and goal-oriented. And by clearly defining your goal, understanding your current position, and focusing on developing the necessary skills, you can navigate your way to becoming a more accomplished musician with this precision and clarity. So this method not only ensures steady progress, but also keeps you motivated and engaged in your practice sessions. So again, if you want to go ahead and pick up a copy of that worship wheel to do that self-assessment, you can go ahead and find the link to that right there in the description. Alright guys, hope you enjoyed this one. And if you want to continue digging deeper into your worship guitar skills journey, go ahead and check out this video.